you're from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, which is right outside of Madison. Oh. And now you get to play in Madison as a professional volleyball player. You got to talk about that because it gives me chills thinking about because that is so, so cool.
It means the world to be able to play in my hometown. Basically, we practice in Sun Prairie. We're playing our first 2 matches in the field house, which is somewhere that I've always wanted to play. Just everyone that's ever seen like the beginning stages of my life and my career, they get to now see like almost a full circle of me playing pro, and they don't have to fly anywhere and they can just drive on the road and watch me play. That really means a lot. I think it's important for everyone to have multiple different things to do outside their sport, outside whatever job they have. Just realizing that I can do way bigger and more things outside of volleyball when it's all done.
I remember when I was talking to DeBeer, she specifically pointed to the Final Four match, the Wisconsin match that we lost. And she was like, even though it was a loss, like it's still one of the coolest things I've gotten to be a part of and so fun. Obviously, we all look back. We all want to have a national championship banner up there. But I think the program has learned so much. Each of us individually have learned so much. I just give you huge props for being able to have that perspective, especially this early.
Imagine facing a challenge every day that could hold you back. But for me, type 1 diabetes isn't a limit. It's a reason to inspire others. Spencer Stand is here to show kids that they can chase their dreams, no matter the obstacle. Through game day experiences, personal workouts, and virtual chats, Spencer Stand brings support, hope, and empowerment to kids with diabetes. Join me in making a stand. Visit spencerstand.com to learn more.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Court. Today we have a super special episode coming to you virtual because she is not here in Louisville anymore, but we have the 2022 ACC Player of the Year. She's played in 2 Final Four appearances in her career in Louisville's first ever national championship game. She's a first-team All-American, and she's a current professional player for League One Volleyball Madison. We have Claire Chaussee. Hey, Claire.
Hello.
This is super sweet because not only were you my teammate for a really long time, and now you've been my competitor for a couple of years, you're one of my best friends. And I just think that's really special. And I'm thankful that our time at U of L gave us this relationship. So I'm really excited about this.
Me too. And nervous.
Well, let's just start off with something easy. You have one of my favorite journeys to talk about. So I just want you to start with that. And because I don't think everybody really knows everything that's gone into your journey. So yeah, just walk us through that.
Okay, so I started playing because of my sister when I was 9. Just watching her, I wanted to be just like her. I was playing soccer as well at the time, but I was just an annoying little sister that wanted to do exactly what my sister was doing, Emily. And before I knew it, I was getting contacted by colleges. And Louisville kind of popped up out of the blue. And within 2 weeks of meeting the head coach at the time, which wasn't Danny, it was Ann Cordes, she had got me on campus and I visit, toured everything, and she offered me within probably a week after that, after visiting. So that was insane. And I think I knew going on the tour, I was like, okay, this is where I want to be, a smaller school. And I, of course, had other schools in mind, maybe Big Ten, but I wasn't specifically what those schools wanted at the time. Yeah, so then I got on campus and I was not prepared for college at all, I don't think. But
who really is though, right?
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so college started and it was just like a struggle being away from home, school, just practice. You go from probably being one of the best players in high school. Mm-hmm. Almost everyone that goes D1 probably was that player. And then you're back at the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's not easy, but it's also not something anyone should be afraid of either. But yeah. And then freshman year, I think around December, so when like the Final Four and everything was happening, I really realized that like I wasn't happy because that whole freshman year was not what I expected, and I was going to quit volleyball. And I always get emotional, especially talking about this with you. But yeah, I wanted to quit, and that's not something I thought I would ever say. But with obviously you, the people I had around me, all the teammates, and even the coaches that at the time I was really mad at, for no reason really. It was just like playing, time, school, everything on top of it. Yeah. Relationships outside of volleyball played probably a bigger role than I realized. And then, yeah, you, my parents, and the coaches, and everyone else on the team was basically like, you have to give it a second shot. You have to go through the spring semester to really give it a true 100% chance of like, okay, if you really don't like it, you can leave. And so I listened, and I think that and you, I remember in that car that day, I was like, I need help. I don't know what to do. And relying on myself and friends is fine, but I think there has to be something more that's going to help me out of this, because even if volleyball was good, like I still probably would have been in the headspace that I was in. So I asked you to mentor me and lead me to Christ, which still to this day, and I said it your senior night when we were at Morton's, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
That you've given me the best gift in the world that I could ever receive, and that's a relationship with God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, I was crying. Okay, but collecting myself.
It's okay. Me too. You know me. I cry at everything, so.
I haven't talked about this in a really long time.
No, me too. Brings everything back, right? Like I feel like I'm a sophomore in college again. You're a little baby freshman, and it's wild.
But yeah, so I think that's when I really found joy within myself and outside of volleyball for sure, which just allowed on the court things that probably mattered to me didn't matter anymore. Or like if I made an error, okay, like it's fine. Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's move on. And it hasn't always been perfect after that, of course. There's always been those ups and downs of going back to like that mental headspace, but I always had someone else to lean on in my relationship with Christ to lean on as well. And then let's move on from freshman year because it's making me cry. But then I got into just like trying to find my role in college. I never really was honestly that starting outside sixth rotation player, probably up until my junior year, maybe even like my true senior year. I was always in and out, or I thought I had it, and then for one game something needed to be changed, and then it would stick for multiple games after that.
Yeah,
being on the court, which was a struggle. You everyone wants to play, but I think you and honestly everyone, you kind of just have to be like surrounding yourself with the people who are like trying to tell you to be like selfless and not be so like, well, I think I deserve this because I'm in the gym way more than everyone else, and that wasn't even true. Everyone's getting extra reps, but you just have to remind yourself to be so selfless when something else is on the line, winning a game and like that. But yeah, I eventually grew a relationship with the coaches where I was eating lunch with them every day, not because I thought I had to or had nothing else to do, but I truly enjoyed being around them and just getting to know them better.
Yeah.
Taking photos of their families and all of that, which I think also allowed me to fall in love with volleyball all over again.
Yeah.
And just knowing that there's more to the sport. It's just like surrounding yourself with a great team, great coaches. People are going to lift you up. Which then led me to the championship game of my super senior year. And I got to get contacted by agents, which then led to me going to Italy. And that was crazy all in itself. I definitely was the American everyone probably pictured. Blonde hair, blue eyed, doesn't know Italian. Like, she's just walking around randomly. She like doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
That was me. And it was a good experience overall. I definitely felt lonely at times. I lived alone. Obviously not knowing the language, but I did have great teammates who tried to like hang out with me as much as they could, while also some of them were maybe in their hometown and like had other friends to hang out with as well.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a really good experience. I also didn't play much there, which is fine, but I actually wasn't really caring about that the whole time. It was more of, okay, how can I experience Italy like outside the gym? Like, what can I do to see the world a little bit more that way? And then I got a call one day. Miss Kathy George called me up and was like, hey, the U.S. is starting this league. Actually, it was you. You and Kathy both called me within like the same month, I think, telling me that there's a league in the U.S. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, that doesn't sound like, obviously it would be amazing, but like, are they going to get it ready? Is everything going to be what they say it's going to be? So I was kind of struggling on the line of, do I go overseas? Do I not? And then eventually I chose to come back to the States and go to Grand Rapids, play against you. It's so much fun. And we made it to the championship game, lost, but I honestly was so thankful for that team and being able to play in the U.S. And have like my grandma come watch me, and obviously my parents, but just like other people that would never see me play professionally got to come see me play because they don't have to fly 7 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I really enjoyed last year being there, and obviously we didn't get that win, but overall everything was amazing. Loved all of my teammates. And then a new league popped up, League One, the one I'm in right now, and we start so soon, and I'm really excited. But that's kind of my journey. It's really long. I could have probably shortened it.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, that's my journey so far, and I'm really excited to see where it goes because I know it's going to go up and down, but it'll be fun.
Man, there's so much cool stuff in that. Like, I've obviously heard your story and like known a lot of it for so long, but to hear you talk about it all together is really cool because there's like this constant, I don't know, like a theme of like things not necessarily going the way that you want them to or that you think they're going to, being, you know, letting yourself be upset about it, but like never getting to the point where you were completely selfish and made it about you. Like, you said that you were encouraged to be selfless from other people, but it's so funny because like I looked at you as the one that encouraged everybody else to be selfless on our team. You know, like anytime I started to feel sorry for myself for whatever reason, like you were always an example of like so much bigger than yourself. And I think you were only able to do that and play all the different roles that you played at U of L and that you played, you know, in Italy and then might in the future, because you really bought into one, what the coaches were doing and what just like us as a program wanted to build as a culture, you know, like how we wanted Louisville volleyball to be defined and the type of teammates we were going to be. And I just feel like you were such a huge catalyst for that because you just bought in. Whatever your role was, whether you were happy with it or not, you bought into it. And if you weren't happy with it, you found out what you needed to do to get to a different place. And then you went and attacked it. And like you having the super senior year that you had is just like this insane, beautiful culmination of all this hard work and determination that you put in, because I don't think you or anybody, we all knew like talent wise, you had it, but your story had been so, here and there were so many great outsides in the program that it was never we were never one person's program. There's never one player that outshined everybody else. But then for you to go your super senior year, we have our other outside, Anna DeVere, get hurt. And so you step into this whole new role and you just absolutely put the team on your back. You're leading the nation in stat categories. You're absolutely in the running for National Player of the Year. Like you're ACC Player of the Year, first team All-American, all these things. Like it's just not an end to a story because obviously your story is still going, but an end to your college story that I think is just incredible. And like a lot of people don't know what you went through. A lot of people just remember the 2022 Claire Chaussee that was absolutely dominant and smiling and bubbly and so fun and laughs all the time and is like the best teammate and encourager. Like you went through so much before that, Like it's just, I don't know, it's just so cool to hear all that. Okay, a couple of things you touched on. You talked about how like relationships off the court and then things outside of volleyball. You talked about photography, leaning into relationships. How do you feel like building an identity outside of volleyball, your relationship with the Lord, all of that has helped you, one, overcome adversity, but then also be a better athlete?
I think it's important for everyone to have multiple different things to do outside their sport, outside whatever job they have. Because I can just go do my photography thing and be proud of myself for doing something that I just randomly started one day, just like a random hobby. And I'm like, wait, I actually really love this. And volleyball won't last forever. And I got to do my first wedding. That was so terrifying, but so much fun. And just realizing that I can do way bigger and more things outside of volleyball when it's all done, just puts me at like an ease, and I have like a lot of peace knowing that when I go into the gym, like this could be my last day doing this, because you never really know. I could be done with volleyball tomorrow, but I still have all these other things that I can do, and then it's just not as stressful in the gym or the environment that you work in. It just won't be as stressful.
Man, that's like an encouragement to me, because I feel like I was always one that like didn't necessarily have, I had interests obviously, but like I didn't have like major hobbies that I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do after volleyball, or this is what I'm majoring in and I know I'm going to go down this career path. And there almost was like an insecurity with that, because I knew I'd be fine with volleyball being done. I still am okay with it, but like, I don't know, just like knowing that like at some point volleyball will end. I think a lot of us are maybe not at peace with that, but we at least know it, that like even just the relationships we've built, the ability to be a teammate, the ability to work with people, all those things like carry so much further than volleyball. Like every lesson we learn in our sport, goes further than the court, And I just think you're such a great example of that, because like it's so obviously still a volleyball, like you're playing, it's your career. Yeah. But like you said, if it ends tomorrow for some reason, like you're gonna be okay. It doesn't mean it's gonna be easy, but like you've clearly not been deterred by like hard things before. Like you're gonna get over it at some point and push through. And I just think that's cool, because you have such an identity outside of volleyball, and I think having those hobbies and building those relationships has been like such a cool part of that for you.
Yeah. And just knowing that like everything truly does happen for a reason. And, like he's got a greater plan. And if volleyball does end earlier than I want it to, then there's something, I have to believe that there's something better. Otherwise, I'm always going to say like, well, what if, or I wish I did this, but it doesn't really matter. I wish I was the National Player of the Year, but it really doesn't matter. Yeah. At the end of the day.
I think that's such a cool perspective. Like I'm able to kind of get to that point with certain things now. Like I remember when I was talking to DeVere and I asked her one of her favorite her favorite Louisville volleyball memory. it was kind of that 2021 season, but then she specifically pointed to the Final Four match, the Wisconsin match that we lost.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, even though it was a loss, like it's still one of the coolest things I've gotten to be a part of and so fun. And like, I'm so thankful that I can now look back on that and be like, wow, like I got to have that experience, you know, like, yeah, it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted, but like the things I've learned from that and specifically losing that match, like, obviously we all look back. We all want to have a national championship banner up there, you know, but I think the program has learned so much. Each of us individually have learned so much. So, I mean, I just give you huge props for being able to have that perspective, especially this early. Like, what, you're technically going into your third pro season?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be able to realize that now and even take the lessons from when you were in Italy, which was what, a year and a half ago, almost whatever. Yeah, a year and a half. Like, it's just cool that like we're constantly learning these things. And that's part of the beauty of sport. And like, how cool is it that you, both of us still get to learn these things at this point in our lives? Like for so long, girls our age were not still playing volleyball, or like the vast majority weren't. Maybe the cream of the crop, the very best of the best, but like no one else really did. And now we like have this opportunity, like this is our life. Like how cool is that?
It's insane. And to do it in the US,
I know,
is even crazier.
I know.
When I was little, I was like, oh, college, then I'll find a job. I don't know.
Right?
But to be able to continue something that we truly enjoy and blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And we can get paid for it.
No, literally.
Amazing.
Yeah. Seriously, huge shout out to League One Volleyball and the Pro Volleyball Federation and Athletes Unlimited for what they're doing for volleyball in the United States. I mean, it is just, I get chills thinking about it, that we still get to do this and that opportunities are growing. I think that's one of the most beautiful things right now. Like there are so many opportunities, and what we're about to start another season. AU just wrapped up literally last night, and then both of us are about to get going. I mean, it's just so cool and special. And it's just like, I don't know, every time I think about it, it's so cool for us, but like, I just keep thinking about the little girls, you know, that like came to our matches at Louisville, like what they get to see now. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
And we probably said like, oh, I want to be this person that's in college, but now they can look like I can go beyond that, and I can be just like football, hockey, baseball, basketball, all those sports, be like, I can still do that. I can continue that after college. And that's crazy. Yeah.
It is amazing. Okay. Speaking of playing in the States. Okay. So you're from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, which is right outside of Madison, right? You are playing for League One Volleyball Madison, but I want to rewind real quick. We played Wisconsin in the Final Four my last year. And I remember that being like the talk of going into that Final Four, us matching up with them. We're the 1 seed, they're the 4 seed. And I think I remember Danny talking about it in a press conference before. She was like, I mean, I think we're all excited, but I think this matchup means a lot. They had these fantastic players on their side. They were so tall. We were the best blocking team in the nation. You know, like all these things, were undefeated going to this. But a story was that you wanted to go to Wisconsin. I mean, who doesn't, from the state of Wisconsin? Yeah. And specifically being from Madison, and they didn't recruit you.
No.
And now you get to play in Madison as a professional volleyball player. You got to talk about that, because it gives me chills thinking about, because that is so, so cool.
Yeah. So of course I wanted to go to the University of Wisconsin, but I wasn't what they were looking for. You know, like you said, they were super tall, and as an outside, I am a little bit shorter than your average. And so it just wasn't a fit. But I would not change one single thing. I love Louisville so much. And I remember Todd would always say, like, you're always going to wish you could come back. And we're all like, yeah, whatever. I would go back to college in a heartbeat just to play volleyball there, and maybe not for like anything else. Yeah. Just to play volleyball and be around the teammates that we had.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I forgot the question.
You're so fun. Just like, okay, all of that to now you get to play in front of your home city. I mean, what does that mean to you?
It means the world to be able to play in my hometown. Basically, we practice in Sun Prairie. We're playing our first 2 matches in the field house, which is somewhere that I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
And never got the chance to because we either played Wisconsin in the Final Four or now maybe they're going back there to play them in the field house eventually. But I get to play there in front of like club coaches that I had, high school coaches, middle school coaches, just everyone that's ever seen like the beginning stages of my life and my career. They get to now see like almost a full circle of me playing pro, and they don't have to fly anywhere, and they can just drive on the road and watch me play. So that really means a lot, and there's no pressure with it, but it's also like I want to just show everyone what volleyball is and how we are like professionally. Like no one has ever really seen it in this area, like professional volleyball. So I'm excited to show them, and I'm so happy now like my nieces and nephews can come and all of that.
That is so sweet. I'm like, wow, I just get so excited for you. And like we said, it's so cool for all of us that have the opportunity, but it's something special to play in your hometown. And I think a decent amount of people get to do it in college. You know, we have Elena and DeBeer and Alexa when she was here and Cece, but to do it at the pro level is so rare. I mean, like just the fact that you've gotten that opportunity, and I know so many people are going to be so insanely excited to watch you and so proud. But all right, we got to talk about it. What if a team comes to Louisville in the coming years? Are we circling it back? Are we running it back?
If it's just me going there, no. I need like you. I need Steve. Anyone that's graduating and playing pro. We need everyone back there.
Yeah, I agree.
Stevie, I get to play with her again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Charity wants to milk a cow.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. I mean, how cool is that? Like you get to play with one of your college teammates, Anna Stevenson Hall. Mm-hmm. Not only is she one of just like the coolest and best people, but she has now had already such an incredible pro career. She was one of our official Olympic alternates this year. I mean, literally that close to playing in Paris. She got to go to Paris to experience it. And she's still got more ahead of her. I know that that's so cool. Like you get to witness that and be on the same side of the net as her. I can't express how jealous I am. It is not even funny. I want to be there milking cows with you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, in due time, we'll figure it out eventually. Yeah. We'll make something happen eventually. This is to everybody. Put a team in Louisville. We all want it. The fans want it. We all know. Yes. Okay, last question to wrap up. And it's a little bit different than how I'm wrapping up with everybody else because you have ended your time at U of L, but you're still playing. And I want to know how, when you're done with volleyball, what's the legacy you want to have left here at Louisville, which you've already left an amazing one, but then on every other, person or team and program that you've gotten to play with or play for?
I want my legacy to be kind of what I touched on earlier, just to like give it your all. I hope that all the little girls could see that I've always done that, gave my all, and did it with a smile on my face, even if I was on the bench. Like, if you can find the fun and the joy and the goofiness all throughout the ups and downs, that's just going to make you such a better athlete, player, anywhere in your life. Like, your relationships with other people will just make it that much more secure. And so if I could leave this legacy, I hope that people would see that, and that's what I've showed them. I don't know. I hope that's a good answer.
It is, of course. I feel like that's a huge part of how I remember you as a teammate, and just that, like, if I needed to go to somebody to giggle, I was going straight to you. If I needed somebody just to, help me get loose and forget about the last mistake or whatever, like, it was straight to you. And whether you were on the court with me, I was not on the court, you were, or you were on the bench, whatever, like, you were just that go-to person for way more people than just me. I know, like, you were just that to everybody, and you've continued that in your pro career, which is even more impressive. So you're already leaving an amazing legacy. I so miss being on the same side of the net as you, but it has been an absolute joy to see your journey, be a little small part of it. And I'm excited for what the future holds for you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll get a team.
Yes, exactly.
That's it for today's episode of Beyond the Court. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to share and subscribe to Floyd Street Media on all platforms. I'm Tori Dilfer-Stringer. We'll see you next time.